Hello, everybody. It's Miss Dreyer. I graded the second and third paragraph of your APA paper, in which you were supposed to write about the documentary. Before moving on to the short story, however, I want to cover some of the issues that I noticed many of you had when you wrote the section on the documentary. And what I'm doing here is I'm providing you with an example of a well-written paper that follows the same guidelines that you are supposed to follow. Okay, it's not the same works. This person read a different story, watched a different film, but the idea is the same. Okay, so to get started, this is her paper, and it begins with a quotation, just like you began with a quotation. Your quotation was about hope. Her quotation was about choices. So she writes, author J.E.B. Spreadman said, choices made, whether bad or good, follow you forever and affect everyone in their path one way or the other. See a spelling error here. So she's got her citation at the end. All right, so it's about choices. And she followed the format. She interpreted the quotation next. In other words, that she then said the quotation was supported by the short story and the Twilight Zone episode. And she very briefly states how the two works support the quotation. Okay? Now, most of you did your intro paragraph. The next thing you had to do was you had to write a summary of the documentary, followed by an explanation as to how parts in the documentary support the quotation. So in this case, this writer, remember, is supporting a quotation about making choices. So she begins, button shows that the choices one makes, no matter how well intended or seemingly inconsequential, can still lead to suffering. Topic sentence. Now we go into the summary. In this story, Norma and her husband Arthur are visited by a man who offers them $50,000 on one condition. Push the button on the box delivered to them earlier, and someone they do not know will die. The couple come to a disagreement on the deal, and Arthur seen pushing the button to be immoral, no matter the gain. Norma, on the other hand, views the visitor's offer to be a way to achieve all of her and Arthur's wishes. In the end, she pushes the button, receives a phone call afterward telling her Arthur had been killed by a train. His life insurance policy of $25,000 had double indemnity, it's supposed to be, which gives her the $50,000 Mr. Stewart, the man who told them about the offer, had promised. Okay, and then she has her citation. Now, she told the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story in one paragraph. Okay? The next thing she had to do was explain how the story supported the quotation. Now, if you'll notice here, she's got a citation at the end of the summary. You know, she has no direct quotations, but she still needs to have a citation at the end. The next part, honestly, you don't need to have an in-text citation unless you are pointing out specific parts. So, the choice in the story appears to be simple to both the reader and the characters. Push the button or leave it alone. Norma made the choice to push the button, even if it meant someone would die. She totally dismissed Arthur's feelings, who thought it was an awful idea. There was no way he would have anything to do with it. It was because of her rash and ultimately selfish choice that made her suffer the consequences, in which she lost the husband she apparently never really knew. All right? So that's pretty much how you do it. And also, you do the same thing for the short story. So she followed up with the film. So now she's moving to the other work, just like you have to move on to the other work and have another 2 paragraphs. And she does it by saying, likewise, in the nick of time, the characters realize their decisions affect their lives. Again, there is a summary of the story of the Twilight Zone episode. She puts an in-text citation at the end. She then moves on to how the events or the decisions made by the characters support this whole idea about choices. So here it goes on to simply discuss how the character Don lost his sense of self, became a slave to this mystic seer, which is a fortune-telling machine, and he eventually comes to his senses and so forth. Okay. The reason I am pointing this out to you is because I think some of you are overthinking this paper, and consequently you sometimes ramble on or you lose focus. You keep in mind that the whole purpose of this paper is to prove that the documentary and the short story support the concept of hope. Doesn't mean the whole documentary has to be about hope or the whole story is about hope. You are finding parts in the documentary and in the short story that support the whole idea, support the quotation. Don't lose sight of the purpose of your paper, okay? If you start focusing a lot on all the negative things that happen to the DACA individuals in the documentary, you're going to lose sight of the fact that you're trying to support this quotation about hope. Yes, you can mention that things didn't always work out, but what part of the documentary could you see that the individuals expressed hope or had hope or were able to go on because they had hope? All right. So for today, May 1st, and I'm also going to take it to, I'm not sorry, May 5th. And also I'm going to take it to May 7th. I want you to simply work on your first 3 paragraphs and revise them, take my comments into consideration, improve everything you've done before moving on. If you need to, watch this video again for an example of what it should look like. And in fact, I will even post this particular paper for you, or this part of the paper for you, so that you can get an idea better by looking at this particular paper. Okay? It's not going to have any reference page or anything like that. It's just going to be the 6 or so paragraphs that she wrote, but you'll get the idea. Again, I'm very big on you following a model. All right. Today, I will be in Google Meet at 11 o'clock. If you have any questions, to get to Google Meet, just go to the classroom page. There's a link. You click it and you shall find me. All right. Okay. Hope to hear from you. Good luck.